Welcome back to the Goomba Stomp podcast. Returning is Tyler Swanson. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been going through a lot of moving, so it's been tough trying to get on the internet when I'm on the road.
Yeah. It's been real tough.
That and packing is never fun.
Yeah. No, it's not. Moving or packing is never really fun. But yeah, and of course I'm Stephan, and we're going to be talking some video game stuff today. Big surprise.
Oh.
I know, right?
Like
Crazy.
a new direction?
Yeah, I think we're going to take this, we're going to put a new spin on things, right?
Oh.
No, not really. But yeah, we're going to be talking a couple of games here, and I'm going to review Wreck-It Ralph, because I just saw that today, so I kind of want to share my opinions on it. Don't worry, I won't be doing any spoilers or anything like that, just a general overview of my thoughts on what if the movie lived up to my expectations, etc., and just how they did things, whatnot. But yeah, not a whole lot else to talk about other than that, just a few things to touch on, but we'll get into it. So to start things off, Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, new movie by Disney Pixar with a lot of video game characters in it. That was kind of like the big hook, is that it's pretty much about arcades and gaming and stuff like that. And it's kind of a cool little neat story that can appeal to both kids, obviously, and grown, older kids, 20s and 30s and stuff that grew up on arcades and video games. So yeah, it's definitely a cool concept that I'm glad they did. Ultimately, I got to say, though, the movie did not live up to my expectations. I guess I thought it'd be better than it really was. It wasn't a bad movie, but it just wasn't as good as the trailer made it seem, I guess. Like I said, one of the big things is the video game characters, how they actually have licensed characters like Bowser and Zangief and, Kano from Mortal Kombat and Dr. Eggman, etc. So, and that's cool, and they're implemented well, but they're just kind of there in supporting roles and whatnot, so it's not really, I don't know, like I said, I'm not spoiling anything, but it just didn't go exactly how I thought it would go, which it wasn't a bad movie. It was enjoyable to watch, worth the money for sure, but it's not something that I'm going to watch over and over. It's probably not, I might watch it another time way in the future, but it's not something I'm dying to see over again, just because I guess it wasn't that good in my opinion. It was decent. It was it told a great story, had a few, like twists or things I didn't see coming, but it was fun. The kids in the audience seemed to have a lot of fun. The guy, there was a guy crinkling his bag right behind where me and Austin were sitting, and that was so annoying. Like literally the whole movie he was doing this, crinkling his, I don't know if it was popcorn or what, but it was just awful. Like I've never heard somebody be that loud in a movie theater. It was to the point where Austin actually said something, and when you get to the point where you actually have to say something, that's when it's just god awful, and it was really distracting. The whole movie, it was awful, but yeah, ultimately a really cool movie, and yeah, it was fun. The visuals were great, obviously top notch from Disney Pixar, so it's pretty much what you would expect in that regard. The characters were really cool, like the characters that they made up. They did justice to the video game characters. Everyone felt represented, well. Nobody seemed out of place or just random. There's a lot of cool little cameos and stuff like that. Like I said, the characters they made up that are the main characters, they seem like, genuine, like they could be video game characters. And it was just a cool concept with a cool story and had some feeling into it. So that part was really enjoyable. So it had some comedy and action and stuff like that. So yeah, it was, in that regard, it was, very cool. So I do recommend that you guys see it, but my overall like review score, I probably have to give it like a B, maybe a B plus if I'm feeling generous, but I definitely think other movies from Pixar have been a lot better. Toy Story, obviously, you can't beat Toy Story in that regard. You got, even Monsters Inc. was really good. Up was really good. It's just I feel like they've put out better stuff, better quality, but this one wasn't like, this isn't the black sheep or anything. It's nothing bad. It's just wasn't as, it's not the A movie that I thought it would be. It's not going to be a classic in my opinion. I think the video game characters add a lot of charm to it for us gamers, but you take those away, like say you had generic characters that weren't really in video games that none of us know, I think it wouldn't be as special. It'd probably put it to like a C plus, maybe B minus. I think that would take away from it, but with them being in there, it definitely helps. All the little references they drop here and there, which is really cool.
Well, yeah, I understand that. But I heard one of the big things also was the music was really good.
Yeah, and they had some music that everyone knows. I mean, it's popular music of today or modern or the last couple of years and stuff. So yeah, definitely had some good hit songs in there used really well for each part of the movie. Nothing felt out of place in that regard. So yeah, I don't know. It just seemed to me, it just seemed like the preview built it up because the preview showed some of the better parts with the video game characters shown in there, and I think it gave off a different feel from what it really was, I guess. But yeah, I'd love to talk more in depth about it, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. But yeah, it seemed like they could have gone a different direction based off the trailer, and instead they just kind of did something else entirely, which wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what I thought would have been even better. But anyways, not to continually go on and on about it, I just kind of want to make this short little review and tell people that you should definitely go see it. And if you don't see it, if you're not big into theaters, then I don't think you need to go out of your way to see this if you don't care for the theater experience. Just get it on DVD or check it on Netflix when it comes out. It is, especially if you know little kids or if nieces and nephews or you have a kid yourself, etc. This is something that they will really enjoy, and it's kind of cool that you can show them all these characters that you grew up with. I guess in that aspect, it's really cool for that. But other than that, not like I said, this isn't something that I see a lot of people just wanting to watch over and over. But once again, maybe I'm just this has gotten great reviews from just about everywhere I've seen, so maybe I'm just enjoyed it a little less. But either way, I still enjoyed it, so definitely check it out when you get the chance.
But what if you're a kid at heart?
Well, I am. I mean, anybody that knows me, I still, you look at my room is decked out with all sorts of crazy stuff. I got Super Smash Brothers on my wall posters. I mean, and Mortal Kombat and Batman and Halo and other comic book characters, Avengers, X-Men. I've got decked out with action figures and video games and decorations and this and that and DVDs and movies and video games everywhere. So, I'm still into this kind of stuff. I love Disney Pixar movies. So I'm just saying, as a kid, I think they probably enjoyed this for, the typical Disney movie aspect, which definitely is represented here. And the characters are lovable, like the new ones that they show. But I don't know. I just think it gave off that the video game characters were going to play more of a part and be more prominently featured. Like you'd have a lot more references than there really were, I guess. But they still offer a good amount, but it just wasn't as exciting in the end. I don't know. There was just parts that seemed to drag on a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I did ultimately enjoy this. It's not, I'm just pointing out why I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it for these reasons. But anyways, other things to touch on. What?
Speaking of Disney.
Yeah. Other things to touch on is Disney bought Star Wars, which comes to a huge shock to a lot of Star Wars fans that, I didn't expect this. I'm not huge on the Star Wars, but I like the movies. And yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Well, I mean, didn't they do something similar like a few years back? Didn't they buy out Marvel?
Yeah, they have Marvel superheroes and all that now.
I mean, and nothing really came out of that.
Yeah,
I remember
Disney.
people were like,
yeah,
"Oh, there's gonna be all these Marvel characters in the next Kingdom Hearts now, and there's gonna be a Disney movie made of them."
yeah, it was people way overreacted to that. It was really stupid. I remember like, oh man, now they're gonna dumb down like X-Men won't like Wolverine won't be able to be bloody and all this like stupid stuff, like common misconceptions with Disney. It's like you guys do know Disney has like branches, like different branches of film companies that have like the more serious adult, dark and gritty movies. They don't just do kid stuff. That's just what they're known for. Disney owns a lot more than people think.
Well, they don't typically put their name on things like that, though.
Yeah, but it's within their branch, is what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though.
I'm
It's
I'm
like
not
you're
saying
not
like
going to
they're
see
not
an
gonna put their
X-Men
name.
movie and have it be, just kids playing in a playground. It's not, it's not like that. It's just that's not what people think of when they think of Disney. But they own a lot, so yeah. So I don't think that's going to negatively impact Star Wars, though they have announced already that there's going to be, Star Wars Episode 7, which a lot of people are questioning and wondering. Some people are excited, some people are disappointed. The people that just want the series to be left alone for, they even hated the prequel movies, which is a good number of people. And just like the original three, they want it to be left alone. So adding a seventh to the original series, a sequel, that's some people aren't going to like that. So, but personally, I'm not, like I said, I'm not huge into Star Wars. I like it. I enjoyed the movies, but I've never been like, I've never owned any Star Wars memorabilia or anything like that. I played some of the games and those are fun, but beyond that, I haven't really gotten that into it. But so for me, I think that's cool. I'll enjoy seeing the next movie, but personally, I don't even think the movie, there's already been rumors that the movie won't be like a direct sequel to all the other things. It won't even take place in that, maybe time frame or around those, the Skywalker family or anything like that. It'll be about a completely different place, so just because it's Star Wars doesn't mean it's going to be a continuation of that story per se, but more just set in the same universe. So
Yeah, and I never really cared for things like that. It always kind of. I'd just rather they just leave it alone than add like, oh, it's the same universe, but here's a alternate story of completely different characters you have no attachment with.
Yeah, I can see that, but some people that are like diehard fans want, there's a whole expanded Star Wars universe through, I'm sure, like books and TV shows, and I don't know, I'm sure there's tons of stuff written online and all sorts of stuff that people could expand upon rather than just touching upon the Skywalker family. Like I said, there's got to
I'm
be
not saying that.
more.
I'm not
So
saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just when they name it like a direct sequel and then it has nothing to do with the originals.
yeah, I understand. So we'll see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see till more comes out and more is, revealed. I find it kind of odd that they've already announced a movie but had nothing to go with it. That's a lot of companies don't really do that. Usually there's something, some substance to show or to at least an idea of what the next one's going to be about. So to just say, episode 7's coming, I think they just did that to get people talking and, get even more publicity if you can, after they already bought it, they're going to be, that's going to be the big news, but still it's interesting nonetheless, getting a lot of fans rumbling, talking either positive or negative. So, I mean, that's good. A lot of people, though, there are a lot of Star Wars fans that did not like what George Lucas was doing and wanted more from Star Wars, but George Lucas said no, and he was done making sequels and, movies like that. So those kind of Star Wars fans that just want to see more, which I can completely understand that. I have, franchises that I just want to see more as well. They'll be happy, so that's good for them. And Disney takes care of their stuff. They're not going to, they paid $4.5 billion, if I remember the number right, for it. So they're obviously going to take care of it. They aren't just going to buy it just to have it sit on a shelf,
Well, absolutely not. I mean,
yeah, they're going to make they bought it to make a profit off
of it. The last few years, I mean,
yeah,
I think of it more of anything as a plus because I mean Disney's a huge financial backing for any company to have.
Yeah, definitely. And same with WB when WB bought Mortal Kombat, and they've bought other, franchises as well, of course, but they bought the Mortal Kombat franchise when Midway tanked, and I was excited. I like WB as a company. They have obviously, DC Comics under their wing, so that's cool, and Looney Tunes and all that sorts of good stuff. But yeah, it's just good to have Mortal Kombat under that because WB has so much money that they don't need to push out Mortal Kombat games left and right just to stay afloat like Midway did. Now they can give Mortal Kombat a big budget and plenty of time to make each game, and it's already shown with their first game under the WB branch that a lot of people say it's the best Mortal Kombat game, at least the best Mortal Kombat 3D game. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a good thing in my opinion to, when a big company can scoop up something like that, a hot franchise, they can treat it like a AAA title and give it the budget and time it needs. Whereas when you're a smaller company or a company that's, fighting hard to get some money to stay afloat, then obviously they're going to push harder for just push out more titles, more titles, more titles just to get more money, more money, more money, but isn't always quality. So it's definitely great in that regard. So we'll see what happens with Star Wars. It is an interesting thing to happen. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it wasn't really. I mean, I never really thought of LucasArts as like a struggling company.
Yeah. I just think George Lucas didn't care to have it anymore. I mean, like I said, he didn't really do much with it, and that's a lot of money to get off of it. 4.5 billion. I mean,
well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's rolling in money even more so than he already was. So definitely. Other stuff to talk about. We got Grand Theft Auto 5 was announced to be coming spring of 2013. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. Are you excited at all for that Grand Theft Auto 5, or you just kind of don't really care about the GTA franchise?
No, I wasn't like really overly impressed with 4 like most people. But I mean, the multiplayer was a lot of fun for what it was. And I mean, I think if they can expand on that in 5, it'll be really a great title. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to get it for like a big, like, hopefully they're coming out with a PC because I mean, I'm not a console person, but it's definitely a title that I'd probably end up buying. Just to play it, if not to play online.
Definitely. I'm excited. I hope they put in the fun aspects. Like, I mean, obviously the game's fun, but I enjoyed 4, even though I enjoyed 3 and Vice City more. It's still could use a little bit more fun factor to it. Like they took out the parachuting and stuff like that. Obviously, they added that into 4, but I'm just saying, like, I want to see more cool stuff like that, like base jumping and stuff that they had in San Andreas that had that. But they kind of went towards the more realistic setting in gameplay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you still got to have your fun arcadey moments, which that's what Saints Row does. Is just pretty much all arcadey now. With the third one, they just went pure arcade and cut out all the realistic fun aspects from Saints Row 2. Like they had a good balance in Saints Row 2 that I think they kind of ruined in Saints Row 3 because story and all that kind of took a backseat for just pure craziness just to have craziness. And, that's all right, but it gets boring after a while. But so, yeah, I hope GTA has, just a little bit of that fun, like crazy zaniness factor that it's always had. It's had goofy moments, goofy weapons, goofy vehicles, and just little, obviously the radio stations and stuff like that. So
oh yeah, Laszlo especially.
Yeah, and I just I hope they make sure to include that kind of stuff a little bit more prominently in 5 than they had in 4. So
yeah, 4, I can definitely see what you mean by it. It took kind of the arcadey thing. They tried to like make it more realistic.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't run around bashing people to death with giant dildos anymore.
Yeah,
and San Andreas is probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto. If I could see something like that come about again, I'd be really pleased.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play a whole lot of San Andreas, unfortunately. It seemed like a really, really awesome game just because it had so much to it. But San Andreas, if I remember right, was right around Halo 2. I think they actually were talking like a week or two in between the release, and San Andreas came first, I believe. So I remember because I bought it and I had both of them, but it just fell into that category where San Andreas just had to take the hit because I was so excited for Halo 2 at the time because that was just the huge big thing. And so obviously San Andreas kind of took a back seat, and I never went back and, played it a whole lot. So that was unfortunate. But from the time I did play it, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the new aspects that they brought into that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love the character customization they added. How you could like make him fat
Yeah.
or get him muscular.
Yeah, and it had some funny moments. I believe Samuel L. Jackson played one of the cops' voices, and just stuff like that was really cool. But yeah, definitely another good addition to the not San Andreas, but GTA franchise. And that one did have a lot of fun aspects. I remember the whole um, the rumor of Bigfoot being in the
Oh yeah,
you remember that?
yeah.
Finding Bigfoot in the woods, like in between all the big cities.
I bought it too. I searched for like hours.
Yeah. And I don't, yeah, it definitely didn't exist. At least I never saw any real proof. But yeah, it was always that thing that people talked about. I remember on gaming sites, especially, people would just talk about finding Bigfoot and stuff like that. So a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'm excited for GTA 5. It'll be a lot of fun for sure. And they always put out quality games. Even, like I said, we may have our disappointments with 4. It's still a quality game. It's still, AAA title for sure. At least a 9 from anybody that plays it. It's still a great game, but I just think in terms of realistic versus arcade, you got to have a nice balance of both. If you get too one way or the other in games like that, especially because GTA built its franchise off that kind of funny comedy, humor, tongue in cheek stuff, and the arcadey style that it had with a realistic spin too as well. So I hope it definitely returns to that. But yeah, and yeah, it's just really cool. So I'm excited for that. It's been a while since we've had GTA. I think 2008 is when GTA 4 came out. So yeah, definitely 5 years is long enough. But we had
Well,
Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that too, which were awesome.
yeah, and that's kind of like the poster child of what you can do with a limited multiplayer and still have it be fun.
Yeah, definitely. And multiplayer is a whole nother thing. I hope that's expanded upon as well. Just because GTA's multiplayer was a lot of fun, but there could be so much more to it. More game types, more, customization for characters could be way better. It was just like a little preset, clothing options in here and there. You couldn't really go in depth as much as you'd want to and something like that. So definitely would like to see that, added in. But it's definitely cool, obviously, to explore a whole city with your friends, up to 16, I believe it was, or 12 or something like that. There was a lot of people you could play with, and definitely cool. But yeah, the actual game types and stuff could use a little work. I remember Cops and Crooks being tons of fun, but after, like, there was people that played it so much that they knew, they knew if the bad guys spawned here, then their getaway spot had to be here. So they would just go to your getaway boat or helicopter and blow it up. So it ruined the fun, because it was impossible at that point. But it was an awesome concept that I'd love to play again. So yeah, I'd love to see stuff like that back. And I'm also
Well, I
excited
mean,
because I think like Tommy Vercetti from Vice City's coming back. Am I wrong on that? I think that's what the rumblings were when GTA 5 was first revealed, like the trailer and stuff.
I heard something about that, but I still haven't seen anything confirming it.
Yeah, I haven't really researched much about the game. I will once more comes out because they're really, GTA is one of those where they kind of only show pictures and maybe, you know, release a few bits of information on like where you're going to, the location and stuff like that. But in terms of if that's Tommy Vercetti or not, I haven't seen anything concrete about it. And if they have revealed it, then I guess I never saw it. But yeah, definitely would be cool to have him back because I thought he was really interesting in GTA Vice City.
Vice City, yeah. I
Vi-
think he was probably my favorite protagonist out of all of them.
yeah,
I didn't really care for Nico and Four. I don't know. He just wasn't very interesting.
yeah, I really
CJ
like
was
Vice
definitely
City a
awesome in San
lot.
Andreas, but
Yeah,
Vercetti was like the ultimate '80s guy.
yeah, and exactly. I guess that's just me being a huge fan of the '80s. I love '80s music, '80s, movies and stuff like that, and even some styles from the 80s are kind of cool. All obviously they have a lot of stupid looking ones, but they have some cool things about it. So, but especially the music. I love 80s music, and I love so many movies from the 80s are in my top 10, not 10, but top 20, 25. Like Back to the Future is a classic, Ghostbusters, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Poltergeist, all sorts of awesome movies. So many horror movies, Terminator as well. There's just so much awesome stuff from the 80s that, yeah, I really like that setting and that environment and that style, so to speak. So yeah, that was Vice City was a great game. I think that's my favorite GTA. So a lot of fun.
I just like the little touches they did too, like just like the neon, like UI and everything. Like the weapons had like a kind of neon touch to them too. Just to like everything overall just had a really 80s feel to it.
Yeah. And Video killed the radio star. I mean, who got sick of hearing that song while you were driving around? Like that song is awesome.
I didn't get sick of any of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. That's my point. I could listen to that all day. Like that was just they had such a good track. I mean, obviously that's another thing about GTA games is the music, and they always have such good music to them. Great, hits from that era that they're in, or even if it's modern. It's just such great music. So it's awesome to play. Have that kind of stuff going, and also the radio stations, which we kind of hinted about or talk barely touched about, is the funny radio station commercials and stuff like that, or just the talk shows and all that kind of stuff is always hilarious.
Like petsovernight.com.
Yeah, or rated R for retarded. It's just like so many funny little quotable stuff. It's just great.
Pogo, was it Pogo the monkey?
I don't Bobo or
He
something
escaped
like
from
that.
a medical facility where they replaced his legs with pogo sticks.
Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait just for all the fun. They just packed their games with so much. Even Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that is so, so packed with so much awesome content that, yeah, I can't wait for the next GTA. It's definitely going to be, one of the games of the year front runners for next year if it lives up to the other previous titles for sure. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. Moving on, we don't really have much else to talk about. We got Halo 4, coming up 2 days from now, or actually tomorrow night is when I'm going to the midnight release. And then Black Ops 2 the following week, which I haven't decided if I'm going to get that or not. I love Black Ops 1, but with Halo coming out just, a week before, I don't know if I want to do that time management thing where I got to, bounce back and forth between the two.
FPSs, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I'll feel like I'm missing out if I don't get it. I just don't want to shaft either one of them because I hate doing that to a game. I hate getting a game a week before another game, and that game that I got first ends up, getting thrown under the bus because of it. And definitely don't want to, I'm definitely not going to turn my back on Halo for Black Ops just because I'm a Halo fan at heart. Whereas, I like Call of Duty and stuff like that, but it's more just a lot of fun. But I don't, I'm not a diehard fan of the series or anything. But yeah, so I don't know. I might get it, I might not. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably end up getting it just because I'll want to play with my brother, who he's not going to get Halo right away. He's going to get Black Ops 2 instead, just because he's more of a fan of those games. So I'll probably get it to play with him. But beyond that, I don't know. And then the week after that, the Wii U comes out, and while that's not really going to be a huge time consumer, I'm not as diehard of a fan of the games that they're having off launch, but I will want to play New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, of course, just on a fun Friday, Saturday night with friends. And yeah, I'm excited for that just because that game's coming on launch. So definitely going. I already have that pre-ordered, so it'll be fun, and also to try out the technology just to see. They're coming with that Nintendo Land, which they showed part of it off, and I looked more into it, and they got a lot of fun mini games, it seems like, on there. I'm sure you remember the little Metroid one they showed off at that press conference.
Yeah, I do.
They got stuff like that, but it seems like they have a lot of other ones that are a lot more cool. When you have like 30 mini games, obviously they're not going to be, as fleshed out as a real game, but I read a little preview of like some of the games, and they definitely seem like they have some fun, addicting ones. They're kind of just like like I said, mini games, but it's neat, and I think that's gonna be a great way to introduce all these characters because they have like one for F-Zero type themed one, Mario themed, of course, Zelda themed, Metroid themed. So it'll be a good way to get all these characters introduced. Some of the lesser known characters like F-Zero and Captain Falcon and stuff like that
Well, I
obviously aren't
mean,
as
that was the
popular.
appeal of the original Wii, was just like Wii Sports. It was just a bunch of really not really fleshed out mini games, but they were still something you could show off the hardware, just have
Yeah,
fun with some friends with.
and that's all this is. I mean, that's why it's bundled with the more expensive uh, package or whatever, is because it is the pretty much showing off all the hardware, the having the gamepad screen and all that. It just plays up all that kind of stuff and shows you kind of the stuff that they can do right out of the gate so far with it. So yeah, that's basically what it is. But I think it's gonna be better than Wii Sports because I just think it has more to offer. I guess it just seems like the mini games are made with pretty good quality for just being smaller games, but we'll see. Definitely, we'll talk about that closer to that coming, maybe next week or the week after that, or we'll definitely review it once it's out and just kind of give our opinions. We'll have Leaper on here so he can help give his opinion on it because I know he's getting it. But yeah, definitely excited for the next few weeks starting tomorrow night. So
Well,
yeah,
also next week is Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS.
are you gonna get that right away, or are you gonna get it when you can get money or whatever?
It might be when I get money. I might steal it from my sister. She buys it
Yeah,
on launch day. But I know it's coming out just a week from today, actually, the 11th on a Sunday.
yeah, because Nintendo always releases them on Sundays for some reason, which I'm not complaining. I think I'd rather go to a midnight release on Saturday night rather than Monday night.
Yeah.
And it's better for kids to be able to get it on a weekend, so at least they can have some time to play it. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's all we really have to talk about now. Like I said, we'll just keep following up on these games as they come out, and definitely gonna have next week's podcast. Definitely gonna have a lot to say about Halo 4. Not a review, but just a lot to talk about. I'm sure we'll have Tyler on here, and
Impressions
he'll
and
be
whatnot.
super what?
Impressions and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a lot of impressions, a lot of just fun. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun memories already just out of the gate. Just so much excitement for it. But yeah, I'm sure if you've seen this on YouTube, you've probably seen that we put out the Halo map retrospective. But check them out. Check out those videos if you haven't. If you're into Halo, of course, or if you're bored or whatever. They make great background music. You don't even have to watch the video footage or anything like that. But if you do, yeah, check them out and let us know what you think. But yeah, that's all for this week, guys. Enjoy Halo 4 if you're going to get it. Post your opinions and just your little comments and review and stuff on these videos, any of them, and I'll see it. And yeah, I'd love to see what you guys think of the game once it comes out. And yeah, that's all we have for this week. If you want to find us on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/GoombaStomp. And if you're listening to this, you probably already know our YouTube, so I don't even need to bother saying it. So yeah, that's all. Well, good to have you back, Swanson.
I'm glad to be back. Except for it's hot as balls here, and I don't want to be here.
Well, there's not much you can do about that now. You made this choice.
Yep, and they closed the pool yesterday.
Lovely. Perfect timing.
I
But
know,
yeah, you guys take care.
Take it easy.